Right now, in the quiet corners of your mind, a storm brews unseen. Not a storm of clouds or wind, but a storm of thought, subtle and insidious, shaping your perception, bending your will, and coloring the very way you experience the world. You wake in the morning to a mind that is already alive with voices, fears, doubts, grievances, regrets, ambitions that may not even belong to you. They are as relentless as waves upon the shore, but unlike the ocean, they do not ebb naturally. They rise, they crash, they demand your attention, they whisper that you are not enough, that the path you walk is impossible, that the world conspires against you. If left unchecked, these thoughts can sap your energy, scatter your focus, and quietly, almost imperceptibly, kill your potential. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote not for idle reflection, but as a guide, a manual for the mind in the midst of the storm, reminding himself, as we remind ourselves, that the fortress of the soul must remain unbreached. Every negative thought is a potential intruder. Every indulgence in worry, anger, or resentment is a crack in the walls, a door left ajar for chaos to enter. And yet, there is a path, a way to meet this storm not with resistance born of panic, but with the calm mastery of the rational mind. To kill negative thoughts before they kill your focus is the highest form of vigilance, the exercise of sovereignty within the self. Consider the nature of these thoughts. They are not reality. They are shadows, echoes, interpretations that the mind produces in its restless desire to understand, to anticipate, to control. Most people mistake them for truth, reacting as though every internal murmur is a decree of fate. They act on impulse, ruminate on imagined offenses, replay past regrets, and construct elaborate scenarios of future suffering. The Stoics teach us otherwise. To see the world as it is, without embellishment, without projection, is the foundation of clarity. Events are neutral. Nothing outside of you can disturb your inner life unless you permit it. Each negative thought is a test of this understanding. Each moment in which the mind urges you toward fear, envy, or despair is an opportunity to exercise discernment. Observe the thought. Feel it if you must, for to feel is human, and to repress emotion is not virtue. But do not obey it. Question it. Examine its source, its logic, its utility. Most often, it serves none of these. It is a trickster, a thief, a mischief maker in the court of your consciousness. Do not feed it. Do not honor it with energy or attention. Let it pass, and in that passing, reclaim the ground it sought to occupy. In this deliberate act of observation lies freedom. In this discipline lies power. In this practice lies the birth of focus. Imagine your mind as a vast citadel. Its walls are your awareness, reason, and deliberate attention. Outside, the world rages with uncertainty and chaos, but inside, calm reigns. A negative thought approaches like a shadow at the gate. Left unchecked, it spreads into the corridors, tainting decisions, stirring emotions, contaminating action. But when you meet it with awareness, when you shine the light of reason upon it, it dissolves. It is not annihilated through force or anger, but by recognition of its insignificance, by the quiet authority of a mind that knows its own sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, loss, and death, yet he cultivated such an inner citadel. He knew that the world's blows could wound the body, but they could never touch the disciplined mind. Negative thoughts, he understood, could be far more damaging if granted dominion over the will, and so he trained himself daily, moment by moment, to observe, to reflect, to discern. Each thought that threatened focus was questioned. Does it serve virtue? Does it serve reason? Does it align with what is true? When the answer was no, it was set aside, leaving the mind intact, luminous, and prepared for action. This practice requires patience, repetition, and courage. The mind is habituated to distraction. It clings to fear, to resentment, to envy, as a child clings to comfort. To change these habits is not instantaneous. It is a lifelong endeavor, requiring constant vigilance and deliberate engagement. But the results are profound. Focus, once fragmented, becomes whole. Energy that once dissipated in worry and regret is available for action. Your attention becomes a tool, precise and powerful, directed by reason rather than hijacked by impulse. The Stoic path is the cultivation of this power, the forging of a mind that is calm amidst chaos, resolute amidst confusion, present amidst distraction. Each morning, each thought, each moment of rising fear or anxiety is a battlefield, And each moment you observe without reaction, you win. You do not fight the thought with force, you meet it with clarity, and in that meeting it loses its authority. Freedom emerges not as an abstract idea but as a lived reality. Emotions are not enemies, they are indicators, messengers of the body and mind. Anger signals perceived injustice, fear signals perceived threat, sadness signals loss or attachment. To deny them is to deny the human experience, but to surrender to them without reason is to surrender sovereignty. The Stoics teach that mastery is not absence of emotion, but the ability to feel without being dominated. When a negative thought arises, feel it, observe it, understand it, and act not from its impulsive energy, but from the deliberate choice of reason. The distinction between reaction and response is the distinction between slavery and freedom, between a mind enslaved to circumstance and a mind anchored in virtue. Negative thoughts, if allowed to dictate behavior, kill focus, waste energy, and erode clarity. But when met with observation and choice, they are dissolved, leaving the mind clear, prepared, and empowered. Every day offers countless opportunities to practice this. Each insult, each setback, each perceived failure or slight is a test. Most people react instinctively, allowing their attention to scatter, their energy to drain, their focus to fracture. But the Stoic observes the event as neutral, recognizing the interpretation as separate from reality. Someone speaks harshly, it is a sound. It carries no inherent power unless you grant it meaning. A goal is delayed, it is an event. It is neither catastrophe nor triumph until you assign it significance. A misfortune occurs, the mind sees it, judges it, and often creates suffering out of nothing. To practice the art of killing negative thoughts is to insert a space between stimulus and response, to use reason as the gatekeeper, to allow only what serves clarity, virtue, and focus to enter the corridors of attention. The mind's cultivation is like tending a garden. Thoughts are seeds. Negative thoughts, fear, resentment, and doubt, if nourished, will take root and choke the potential for growth. Positive, deliberate, reasoned thoughts, if cultivated, will flourish, providing strength, resilience, and clarity. To ignore this cultivation is to surrender your life to chance, circumstance, and the tyranny of mental habit. To practice it daily, to observe, to reflect, to choose, is to reclaim your power, to build an inner citadel that is impervious to distraction, and to act with presence, focus, and purpose. Even time itself is a servant to the disciplined mind. Past regrets are memories, unstable and often misleading. Future anxieties are projections, fantasies of fear that may never arrive. The only true domain is the present moment, the here, the now. Negative thoughts thrive in the imagined past or the anticipated future. By anchoring attention in the present, by observing the rise and fall of thoughts as transient phenomena, the mind is liberated from their tyranny. Focus becomes effortless, action becomes deliberate, life becomes richer, more vivid, more aligned with virtue and purpose. To kill negative thoughts is not merely defense, it is creation. It is the creation of a mind capable of sustaining clarity amidst chaos, of acting with precision amidst distraction, of living fully in a world that constantly seeks to fragment attention. The ultimate lesson of Marcus Aurelius, of Epictetus, of the Stoics, is that mastery is available to all who practice. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a garden to be tended. Negative thoughts, like weeds, arise naturally, but with awareness and care, they can be removed before they suffocate growth. Your attention is the gardener, reason is the tool, and each deliberate act of observation is a stroke of cultivation. In this way, focus is preserved, energy is maintained, clarity is achieved, the mind becomes a fortress, the soul a citadel, and life itself an expression of deliberate, conscious, and sovereign action. In the end, the enemy is not outside, it is within. The battles of life are secondary to the battles of the mind. To kill negative thoughts before they kill your focus is to take your rightful place as master of your inner world. It is to act with wisdom rather than impulse, with calm rather than panic, with purpose rather than reaction. This is the discipline that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the distracted from the focused, the reactive from the free. It is not an easy path. It demands patience, vigilance, and unyielding commitment, but it is the path of clarity, of freedom, of mastery. And in walking it, you discover that the true enemy is illusion, the true victory is presence, and the true life is one directed by reason, illuminated by awareness, and enriched by the calm authority of a mind that will not be moved by shadows, but stands as its own light.